This episode of the Topcast is proudly supported by our premium brand partner, opus1.io.
Because if we can find more time to focus on the things that will grow our studio a bit more, if you want to do that, then hopefully that will bring in some more dollars, which is fine to say. Okay, don't be afraid of making money. Business operators, and many of us I know do it out of love, and almost when we get paid, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing this for. I know that feeling, and that's what having a job that you're passionate about is all about.
You're listening to the Topcast, the original podcast for growth-minded instrumental music and voice teachers since 2015, with your host, Tim Topham. Our mission at Top Music is to empower instrumental music and voice teachers to find and nurture their innate creativity so that they can teach lessons that are innovative, integrated, and inspiring, and that will have a positive, lifelong impact on their students. Join us each week as we interview teachers and creators from around the world and unpack fun and exciting ideas to maximize your teaching and studio business success. G'day teachers, it's Tim here. Welcome back to the Topcast, the place where we explore the smartest, most creative and future-focused ways to run a thriving and fun music teaching business. Today is the last week of our Streamline Your Studio month. How's it gone, by the way? Has it been helpful? We put a lot of work into choosing our monthly themes, and I'd love to hear feedback on how it's helped shape your teaching and business, or whether there are ways that we could do it even better next time. Next month is all about piano technique, and we're just about to release all of our 2026 themes. So please do get in touch if there's one you'd love us to cover, or if you've got any feedback on the ones that we've been doing this year. Our email is support@topmusic.co. It'd be great to hear from you. Today, to finish the month, I thought I'd share a quickfire replay of a presentation I gave when I was a featured presenter at the MTAC, the Music Teachers Association of California conference a few years ago. The presentation was called Business Systems and Productivity for the 21st Century. And we've chopped it up a little bit today and shortened it so that you can get maximum value in minimum time. And remember, if you'd like to watch the video of this presentation or any of my interviews with our special guests, they're all available to our members inside our Top Music Pro library. It's one of the benefits of being with us. Even if you're on our $10 a month Lite plan, which gets you that free monthly sheet music, our Inspire pack, our composition cards, all of those things, that also gets access to these interview videos. So you can find out about that Lite plan at topmusicsheets.com if you'd like. So today's episode, we'll cover some productivity hacks, some business time savers, and even some information about virtual team members. You'd be surprised at just how cost-effective hiring virtual assistants for your studio could actually be. So let's take some of the pressure off. Let's get some of those jobs off your plate. Let's get you streamlined, and let's get started.
So we're going to look at, in the streamlining the studio and our productivity, we're going to look at it in three areas. So the first area we're going to look at is productivity hacks. And by hack, I just mean shortcuts. So shortcuts, ways of making what you're already doing a little bit faster, a little bit easier. And there's lots of things that can add up, small things that can add up to big time savers. Secondly, speaking of time savers, some business ways of saving time, because we're all running businesses. They might be quite small, they might be quite large, or somewhere in the middle. There are always ways that we can streamline that too. And finally, I want to cover some ideas around virtual teams or hiring people who aren't in America to help you with your business. The world has become very much a global place, and it's surprisingly easy to hire people in other countries to help you with things that don't need a physical presence to do. We'll talk about that at the end as well. And so I've really got three goals, and they all build on one another. The first goal is to help you find more time. And I did a survey recently of my readers and podcast listeners about what one of their biggest challenges is. And time is the biggest challenge. Many of you have families. You're trying to keep up a social life while teaching at awful hours of the day most often. And we're trying to run small businesses and do everything at the same time. Get distracted by cat videos on Facebook, and so this is a really big issue. So I want to hopefully help you find a little bit more time today. That's going to hopefully lead on to helping you focus a bit more on what's important. And so I've learned in running the podcast and my blog and things like that there are certain things that I just should not be doing and wasting my time on, because it's not where my skills lie. And so trying to help us focus on what we should be doing, which for many of us is building our business, creating amazing lessons, consulting with parents and things like that. That's where we should be spending our time. And hopefully that will enable us to earn some more money. Because if we can find more time to focus on the things that will grow our studio a bit more, if you want to do that, then hopefully that will bring in some more dollars, which is fine to say. Okay, don't be afraid of making money. We are business operators, and many of us I know do it out of love, and almost when we get paid, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing this for. I know that feeling, and that's what having a job that you're passionate about is all about. But it's okay to make some money and not undersell yourselves as well, and to make some good money. Now, we mentioned at the start that all the slides, links, downloads, handouts, I don't give you handouts except for the one that we're about to have a look at in a second. So if you download my app, it's free in the App Store, just search for Tim Topham. When you get it, there's a link to workshops at the top of the main page, and that will take you through to where all the links are and downloads and resources. You can grab my full PowerPoint presentation, all that kind of stuff. Happy to give it away. So don't feel you've got to madly write everything down that you see in front of you. Okay, now, I'm really glad that you didn't all walk out when you saw that handout that I've given you on effective hourly rates. Now, this is one of the most important things to keep track of, and it's something that probably not many of you have done, and I do this task every month. And so we've got a little bit of a worksheet. We're going to fill this out now with the figures that we've got in our head at the moment. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to give you an idea of how you can fill this out in detail when you get home and actually have some figures in front of you. So the handout was at the back. If you didn't get one, please go and grab one. And there is a link to a blank one in the worksheets link that I've given you access to. So scribble all over this, write on it. You don't have to rub it out and start a new one. You've got a fresh one. You can download as many as you want when you get home. So what we're going to do is start by writing in at A, our total teaching income per month. And I just want you to have a bit of a guess at that. That's probably a figure that you probably know relatively well. So how much money do you make from teaching? And if you're an accompanist, perhaps, you're accompanying work each month. Write that figure in now. And if you're not 100% sure, that's okay. Just write a ballpark figure, just to give you something to play with. So the amount that you make per month. And what we're going to do, by including expenses, we're going to eventually come out with a figure of the amount you actually earn per hour, which is not the same as the amount you charge per hour. And this is the mistake that it's really easy to make. If you charge $50 an hour for your lessons, you're not actually making $50 an hour because that doesn't take into account any of your expenses or tax. So that's what we're going to do in this calculation. Okay, so total teaching expenses per month. Now, if you have a look down the bottom of your sheet, we've got some examples of all the different things that you should potentially include in your expenses category. So, for example, if you are renting a studio, then that's easy. Your rent would be included in that monthly charge. If you operate out of home, who operates out of their home? Yeah, well, so probably 75% of you. So most of you would probably be able to apportion a percentage of your house that you use for teaching. So it might be a quarter of your house. And let's say you pay, if you own your home, then perhaps it doesn't cost you anything. But if you have a mortgage and you're paying, let's say $1,000 a month, and you use a quarter of it for your piano studio, then you should be including $250 worth in that expense category for your rent. There's, what else have we got? Utilities, your internet and phone. Again, if your phone bill's $100 a month, is that expensive? That's probably a lot, isn't it? 50, whatever it is. No?
It's just right.
It's right, just right. $100 a month. So if you spend half your time using that phone for piano stuff, then that's $50 a month expense, etc. So just go down there. I want you, this is going to be really ballpark because you haven't got figures in front of you, but have a bit of a guess as to your expenses per month. And you can see some of the other things here: conference costs, memberships, magazine subscriptions, gas if you're a travelling teacher. And pop that in at B. And then for your gross profit, you're just going to subtract B from A. So A minus B will equal C, hopefully. By the way, we're not going to spend the whole session on this, so don't walk out just because we're doing calculations now, okay? If this isn't your jam, that's okay. We're not going to do it for too long. So you should have a gross profit figure. So let's say my total teaching income per month is $1,000. Let's say my expenses are $500, then my gross profit is $500. Tax rate. We all pay tax, probably. In Australia, we have a tax-free threshold, so you have to earn over a certain amount. Is that the same here? It's probably state by state, I guess. I'm guessing it's probably around 30% tax that most of us pay. Would that be right? As a book? 23, 30. Okay, so write your tax percentage in, and then you're going to calculate the tax you pay by that little calculation in the brackets there. So take your gross profit, C, and multiply it by the tax rate divided by 100, and you should end up with your net profit per month when you subtract the tax you paid from your profit.
And now a quick word from our premium brand partner, opus1.io.
When your billing runs smoothly, everything else in your school just clicks. You know exactly where your revenue stands, parents feel confident, teachers get paid on time, and you get to focus on your students instead of spreadsheets. That's what Opus One makes possible. Imagine tuition payments processing automatically, reminders sent out without you lifting a finger, and your books balanced before you even think about it. It's the kind of clarity and control that turns billing from a weekly stressor into a quiet background process that simply works. That freedom to lead, to teach, to grow starts with having systems that work as hard as you do. I'll tell you how Opus One makes it happen right after this.
Now, if you're still with me, you've filled out about 6 of those rows so far. And you probably feel like you're back in maths class, and I do apologise, but this is hopefully really, really helpful. And if it's not something that you can get your head around right now, then hopefully take it home, have a think about it, connect with me online, ask me questions if you want to. I'd really like to help you with this if it's not coming easily to you. Okay, so we got the gross profit, we subtracted out the tax that we paid here, and we ended up with a net profit per month. So here's where we include all our teaching hours. So please have a think about your teaching and preparation hours per week. How many hours do you spend teaching? And add on your repertoire selection and your administration and your teacher contacting and your emailing and your newsletter writing, etc. So that should give you in hours per week. And then to get a monthly figure, then you can either multiply that by 4 for simplicity, or if you want to be more precise, multiply it by 52, that's 52 weeks, and divide it by 12 months. And you should have an H figure there. And we're getting close. Only one calculation to do.
Minimum wage.
Yeah, this is where it gets scary, potentially. So your effective hourly rate, the rate that you are actually earning per hour, is F, this one here, your net profit per month, divided by H. And you should have dollars per hour here. Now, I've done this a number of times with groups of teachers online, and some of them have been tremendously shocked. I've had teachers with negative numbers here. I've had teachers well under minimum wage. And in Australia, so your minimum wage here, I've written it on the sheet, is $10 an hour, or $10.50, yeah, something like that. In Australia, it's about $20, and so it was easier for people to come under that. Maybe harder for American teachers to come under the $10, but perhaps not. So this should be really instructive for you as to how much you're actually earning per hour. And I would recommend doing this calculation every month. I do it every month for me. And there are some great applications too. If you spend a lot of time online, there are tracking applications that can just track the amount of time you spend online. It also can tell whether you're on Facebook or Instagram versus when you're being productive. That can be scary too. So that's the figure. You don't need to share it with anyone. I'm not going to ask people to pop their hand up and tell us. But hopefully it's above minimum wage, because otherwise it would be better doing something else, potentially, if you wanted to make money from it. So there are some ways to improve this, and you've probably worked them out. The first thing to do is increase your income, which could mean charging more or teaching more, or moving to groups and teaching more people at the same time, potentially. You can decrease your teaching hours, teach less, or work less, or prepare less, be more efficient. And thirdly, you could decrease your expenses. So they're really the 3 main drivers of that figure. And we'll have a chat about each of those as we continue today. So what should I charge? This is a question I get asked all the time. It comes up on Facebook groups all the time for those of you who are in those groups. People asking, what do you charge? So I thought I'd do a poll. I did a survey of 500 of my online followers and email subscribers, and had about, 100 or so tell us their rate in US dollars per hour from all around the world. So not just US teachers. Now, of course, the reason why people aren't so happy to talk about it is, one, it's a little bit private. Two, it's very specific on the area you teach in. And we all, even in the same city sometimes, different areas can have very different demographics. So this is just a ballpark. Would you be interested to know what people are charging? Would that be useful? Thought you might say that. Okay, so here's the result. At the top, between $40 and $50 an hour is about 45% of teachers around the world. That's their charge. This is all US dollars, by the way, so I've got people to convert to US dollars. And then the next most common bracket was $20 to $30, 35% of people. And finally, there was about 15% in between here and $60 and the $70 mark. This is the scariest one here, I think. I hope most people aren't charging $10 an hour for a lesson, because really that's not sustainable. And these 20 people, I don't know how they would manage to sustain that unless they've got significant income coming in from other places. But that's hopefully an interesting indicator of where you are and what your pricing strategy is like. Again, it's really dependent on the place you teach in and the people you are working with. Yeah.
So can you clarify, how is this organized? Because I was expecting it to be like 10, like the highest amount is at the top or something.
Yeah, so 22% of respondents charge $40 an hour.
Oh, so it's by how many people responded?
Correct, yeah, so the responses here.
Okay.
Yeah. So the highest number of people is the top figure.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thanks.
Yeah. So that's why I've just kind of grouped these together as being, a pair. They're very close to each other. So if you're in the $40 to $50 an hour category, you're around about 50% of other teachers who responded to this survey. So yeah, hopefully that's about what you were thinking. Maybe not.
So your number is before all the expenses?
Correct. Yeah, this is the amount that you charge parents. Yeah.
This is around the world?
This is around the world. Yeah. So predominantly UK, New Zealand, Australia, US.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So enough with the calculations. No more maths today. Let's talk about some productivity hacks. And the first one I want to talk about is regarding social media. And then the second about email and admin. And we can do some things here that can really help, I hope. So social media, who uses Facebook? Hands up if you're a Facebook user. I'm going to guess that's most people. Who regularly jumps into one or more of the piano pedagogy groups and forums online? Yeah. And there's about 20 or more of them now. It's quite crazy. Facebook's brilliant. It's such a great platform, but it's incredibly well designed to suck us in, isn't it? Brilliant at getting us to continue using it and waste a lot of time in the process. So I want to give you just a couple of things that you might not be aware that you can do with Facebook to help you see what you want more often. And that is, firstly, when you're on the desktop of Facebook, there's a little down arrow. So you need to go on a laptop or a desktop of some sort. It may be possible on the app, but I haven't found an easy way to do it. The first thing that we all see when we log into the app is the news feed. And that's where, I don't know about you, but it's impossible to stop scrolling. And it's never ending, right? You're just like, oh, what's next? I don't really know. So there's a nice little trick you may not be familiar with in these newsfeed preferences that, one, you can unfollow people, so you can still remain their friend, but they won't show up in your newsfeed. And two, you can prioritise who you see first. So if you particularly like the articles by a guy in Melbourne, Australia, who writes about piano teaching, you could prioritise him as the person who shows up first in your newsfeed. And it just means that his prize from Qantas, I did a little setup where they showed up first. And literally you can choose a number of people and they'll just be first in the newsfeed. The other thing you can do, and this is also on the app, is these little three dots will allow you to snooze them if you don't want to see them for a little while and they've been annoying you. You can unfollow them. or you can hide them. You can also save things. A lot of people don't know that you can save links to things that you find, because that's another issue I find with Facebook is things just scroll through and then they're gone. But you can save them. So there's 3 useful tricks, I think, particularly that unfollowing and particularly the showing first in your newsfeed. Yeah.
How do you access the stuff that you've saved? Where is that?
When you you open the sidebar, there's a saved items list. And if you're on the desktop, it's one of the left-hand menu items as well. Yeah, it's actually really easy to find. Cool. No notifications. So, notifications. Aren't they fun? Just interrupting you the whole time. Your inbox pinging, you've got a new message. It's really kind of thrilling. I'm just going to recommend you turn most of them off if you have any of them on. I really don't have any notifications on. I really don't have any. I might have a badge, like the badge shows a number 1 or 2 or something like that, but nothing popping up and interrupting me. And there's a great way to choose the settings and the notifications that Facebook in particular gives you. Again, instead of the newsfeed preferences, if you go to settings, you've got notifications, and then you've got all these settings here. I didn't even know that you could get them to text message you. Can you believe how annoying that would be? Text message you notifications. So you want to turn that off. And you've also got the option with the email settings to only receive information about your account. That's what I do. These will probably only show up if you have a page. But over here, you've got the option. These are all off, which is why they say turn on. So you can just turn off everything if you want to. And I really think it's a good idea. It just means that instead of the app telling you when you should be using it, you can go, okay, my time on the app is 2 to 2:30 after lunch before I start teaching, and that's it. And you just go in and have a look at what's there. Okay, now I would imagine many of you use YouTube in your studios. It's such a great resource. But one of the most annoying things, of course, is ads. So did you know that you could turn them off and never see them? Yeah, it's actually really easy. This only works on laptops and desktops, unfortunately not on iPads or iPhones or tablets. That's the only downside to this. But if you have a laptop, and so I use this in my teaching mostly, then you can install something called AdBlock for YouTube. It's a Chrome add-on. So Chrome is one of the browsers. Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, what's the other one? Safari. So they're the most common browsers people use. Chrome is the one I recommend. I think it's got the most add-ons and ability to adjust things and see what you want. So download AdBlock for YouTube. You just add it to Chrome up here, and then you actually never see an ad ever again. So all you see is your ads being cleaned by AdBlock for YouTube. And so, yeah, and it does all the different kinds of ads, the really short ones or the long ones. Okay, so easy win. When you're teaching, I love getting kids to show me something that they want to learn, and so we'll go on YouTube, we'll type it in, and bang, up pops an ad for goodness knows what. I mean, it could be anything, right? So, great way to clean up YouTube. Do people know about that one already? Some people probably do. Cool. Hopefully that's useful. Yeah.
I use YouTube Red, but I pay for it.
Right.
So how can they do it for free? How is that possible?
I'm not sure. I don't know what YouTube's take on it is, but it's legit and legal, and it's been running for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of my monthly payment.
I don't. What does YouTube Red give you?
It's like TV shows.
Oh, is
No
it
ads.
TV?
It just
Right.
the ads, but it costs
Right.
monthly.
Well, if there's nothing else it gives you that you want, then maybe that's the solution.
It does work on your iPad and iPhone.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes.
It's
Okay.
everywhere.
There you go. There's your solution for Apple and Android devices. Okay.
And now a quick word from our premium brand partner, opus1.io.
With opus1.io, your billing just happens. Invoices go out automatically. Families get gentle reminders if they forget to pay. Payments are tracked in real time. You can even handle recurring or term-based billing without lifting a finger. And because it's all inside your Opus One platform, every payment is connected to the right student, class, or program. No double entry, no spreadsheets, no "where did that payment go" moments. Jessica, a school owner using Opus One, describes the relief. Opus One saved me time and money. I've been able to expand my business without hiring another admin. That's not just automation, that's freedom. And she's not alone. Hundreds of music schools across the country are using Opus One to simplify the one thing no one got into this business to do, billing. Because Opus One was built by music school owners for music school owners, we know that payments are more than transactions, they're relationships. When your billing is clear, accurate, and on time, it builds trust with families and confidence with your staff. You look more professional, you reduce stress, and suddenly billing isn't a bottleneck or task you dread each week. It's just another thing that runs itself in the background while your school keeps growing. What else did I get when I took billing off my plate? Stay tuned.
So let's go on to email and administration. So, okay, who's going to put their hand up and admit that that's what their inbox looks like? Most Monday mornings, most days, yeah. I actually have a few friends whose apps look like this on their phone, and I'm just annoyed. My OCD does not deal with this well at all. So look, there's a couple of easy tricks to get to that magical inbox 0 every day, which is what I aim for. And I'm going to talk to you about a tool called Active Inbox. Can you put your hand up if you use Gmail for your email? Fantastic, okay. So for all of you, Active Inbox is a plugin for Gmail. So if you have your own at iPrimus or something, then it might not work for you. But if you're on a Gmail account, then check out Active Inbox. So some of the things you can do, you can set a date to deal with an email. So if you don't want to deal with that email right now, you can just click Remind Me next week, and it will pop back up into your inbox. You can turn emails into tasks, because for many of us, emails are really just a task list of things you've got to do. So you can actually create a task list from it. You can get it to remind you if no one replies to your email. So if you've emailed a parent that has shown interest and they don't reply, it can remind you, oh, this person hasn't replied, and you can go and try that again. You can schedule it to send later. So if you do all your emails at 10 o'clock and don't want to send them then, you can say send all these at 8 a.m. the next day. You can group things by topics. So if you're planning your recital and there's all the emails from that, you can actually just pop them in a recitals folder, and it costs, it's like $5 a month or something. So it's actually incredibly reasonably priced. So what I did is I actually went to just not reinvent the wheel. I just grabbed a 2-minute clip from their website, just showing you this in action. So have a bit of a look at this.
Here is a feature request from a customer that I don't have time to deal with right now, but I don't want to forget it. So I will turn it into a task by marking it as due for today. I'll also add it to the project folder with all emails related to this feature request, so I can find it quickly when I need to. Because I don't want to have to reread the email next time I open it, I'm going to quickly add subtasks to remind me what to do. Back above the inbox, I can clearly see today's priorities in my today list. In regular Gmail, we'd probably waste precious time figuring out what to do next. With Active Inbox, I can prioritize my today list by project or person, or drag urgent items to the top. And because email subjects aren't always the most helpful, the first subtask is shown next to it, so you're immediately reminded of your objective. Next, I need to email a supplier to check progress on our new website redesign. Rather than sending it and hoping that I'll get a reply, I'll mark it as waiting on. Then if I don't get a reply in 2 days, it will appear on my today list to remind me to follow it up. Or I can check progress at any time from the sidebar. As I'm working late, I don't want to disturb my designer's evening, so I'll set it to be sent in the morning when they're also more likely to see it. By the way, you can review earlier conversations with a single click, so you can check for unfinished tasks and retrieve previous details to drop into the conversation. It's another easy way to keep you on top of things. And we're not just on desktop, we have a great mobile app as well. Everything syncs between desktop and mobile, so you can get your tasks and emails wherever you are.
I'm not affiliated with them, so I make nothing from it. I just think it's a great tool and I use it, and I've used it for about a year now. In fact, my annual subscription just came up, and I'm very happy to pay that amount for that amount of functionality. Yep.
If it's a plugin, do you have to be using a particular browser for it to work?
It works in multiple browsers. I use Chrome, but I'm pretty sure it works on Safari as well. So there you go, little tips for email. Any questions, by the way, please shout them out as we go. I'm just going to keep on moving because I've got lots more ideas for you. So some business time savers for you. Billing and management and sharing, storage and that kind of stuff. Well, a number of you mentioned that perhaps your business administration could do with a little tweak. So let me talk about some studio tips. Just firstly, I know this is really simple and I apologise if I'm talking to people who already do this, but do have a separate bank account. Even if you've only got 5 students and it's quite small, having a separate bank account just allows you to really know much better how much you're spending and how much money you're getting in. I started with everything in my personal account and it was a bit of a nightmare. My accountant hated it. So it's a really simple thing to do and that doesn't usually cost too much money. Receipts. So does anyone still do the shoebox for their accountant? Yeah, and they hate you. Even if they don't tell you, your accountant hates you, okay? Because you can now do all of this so easily online. Okay, so scanning, I'm going to talk about Dropbox in 1 second. But Dropbox, who uses Dropbox at the moment? Oh, lots of you, great. So you might not know that Dropbox has a really good app that's free. And with one click, you can go, there's a plus, which means new file, and it will scan whatever's in front of you. So it'll take a photo of it, and you can just save it to receipts. Done. Chuck out the receipt then, because it's online. So that's what I do for my business, and my bookkeeper does enjoy that much more than they would a box of physical receipts. And look, I do recommend investing in studio software because things like scheduling, particularly allowing parents and students to do their own swaps in your schedule, can be a huge time saver. Automated billing, I think, is something that you should definitely consider if you're not already doing that. And just the general studio management of the details and data for your students, pieces they're playing, things like that. The option that I personally use is My Music Stuff, and I think this is a great option. There are some other ones, Music Teachers Helper, Teacher Zone, the guys are downstairs, so they're quite a new offering. Whatever it is that you use, please use one of these. They've been built to help you and save your time, so it really is a good thing to do. One of the things that I love about My Music Stuff in particular is that for I teach a lot of teenagers who come to lessons themselves. It will SMS them a reminder. You could set up as many reminders as you want by email or SMS to parents or students to remind them that their lesson's coming up. And if you change the lesson in the schedule, it will only remind them for that new time slot, or you can just remind them of the schedule change. Just simple things like that, I think, can save so much time. For maybe it's $30 a month. They bill differently. It's a bit more expensive, but what an investment in time saving. For billing, if you're still taking checks, then I would discourage you from doing that because I think it's another great time waster of hassles and having to go to banks and deposits and things like that. Think about it from your parents' perspective as well. Having billing that they don't have to worry about, that is set up for them, is one less thing that they have to deal with for their children. And I would imagine, I'm not a parent of a child of having music lessons, but I would imagine that's quite a good thing. It's a great thing for you as a business owner because you don't have to worry about it either. You don't have to send reminders or have awkward conversations because this software just bills automatically. And most of these studio management softwares will be able to do this, so you can find out more about it from them. I also have this blog post of my own about how I changed to monthly billing about a year ago, what I actually did, and there's a download worksheet where you can actually work out the calculations of how much you should charge. I went for monthly. You might do semesters. Some people do terms. It's up to you how you'd like to do it, but I would recommend you do it. And if you don't want all the studio management stuff, then there are some apps online. Wave Apps is quite a good free service for billing people automatically. You pay only a percentage of the fee that's being billed rather than a monthly fee to them. All of these software, so if you are setting up credit card billing, it will cost you. It's normally 2 to 3% of the billing cost. But again, the amount of time that you're saving, bonus.
Point 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So they are two softwares, right?
Yeah, so you can either go for studio management software, which will do everything, scheduling, billing, everything together. Or if you don't want all of the music studio stuff, you can just get billing done for you automatically, regularly, no checks. How good's that? Australia has phased out checks. I would imagine that's going to happen here in America. Is there any talk of that or not? No? And I know Britain and the UK is phasing them out as well. So, yeah, it'll happen. I always find it funny when I come to America and you've still got your little pennies. Tell you, doesn't that just annoy everyone? Is it? Yeah, I mean, great for tips because you just chuck them back because who wants to carry around a pocket full of pennies? I just think it's funny. Again, we phased out 1 and 2 cent coins when I was a kid, and they're just about to do 5 cents now. So eventually we'll phase out dollars, I guess.
And now a quick word from our premium brand partner, opus1.io.
When we switched to Opus One at my school, I didn't just save time, I got peace of mind. I stopped worrying about missed invoices or awkward payment reminders. Everything was automatic, accurate, and organized. And the best part? That freed up my time to let me focus on what actually moves the needle, mentoring my teachers, planning recitals, and connecting with families. And I wasn't alone in unlocking critical time to focus on growth. Schools using Opus One grow an average of 40% in their first 18 months. So if billing is stealing hours from your week and mental space from your day, it's time to change that. Visit opus1.io and see how simple, seamless, and stress-free invoicing can be. Because when your systems take care of the admin, you can take care of the music. And that's what Opus One is all about.
Last couple of things. Some sharing and storage and backup. Great to know a number of you are using Dropbox. Dropbox and Google Drive are free to use up until a certain amount of storage. The big advantage of these two tools, and this is the biggest time saver, I think, and it may not be how you're using it, so take note of this. One of the things we all know we should do is backup, but we often don't, and it's because it's a pain, and it's like you could think of anything else that you would want to do rather than sit and back up your computer. So the great thing about Dropbox in particular, Google Drive kind of does this, but I think Dropbox is better, is it puts a folder physically on your computer into which you can put anything. So I actually drag my documents into Dropbox and all my pictures and videos and whatever else. So anything that's in that Dropbox folder gets automatically copied up to the cloud, that mysterious place where files go. So there's now 2 copies. There's a copy up here and there's a copy on your computer. So if your computer gets wiped, there's still a copy up here. And if you get a new computer, load Dropbox, log in, all your files will magically reappear. And if you connect to your iPad and log in, then all those files will end up there as well. So they'll be on 3 places, etc. It's beautiful. I don't know how it works. It's magic. And it keeps synced. So if you change something on your iPad, it changes there and there as well. It's magic. So if you're not using it as a backup tool, there's another time saver. Just put everything in there and it will be backed up. Magic. I think it's great. Yeah.
You can put your whole documents?
Yeah, you can put anything in there. So just grab that whole folder, my documents, which is probably where you store everything, and just drop it in into Dropbox. It'll take a while to sync, but it's great. You don't have to worry about it then. So I've never done a backup since I've had Dropbox. Yeah.
What's the difference between Dropbox and iCloud?
iCloud is an Apple-specific form of cloud storage, but it doesn't work like Dropbox. It doesn't have a folder. Well, it depends how you use it. For most people, iCloud is a way to back up their iPhones and iPads and Apple devices.
So Dropbox is a bigger storage?
It's bigger, it's got more features, and it's multiple devices. Yeah.
Do you know if Dropbox can be used with Apple devices?
Yes, so I have Dropbox on my phone. Yeah. You can use it. It works with any device, tablets, Androids, anything.
No. Do you have a certain number of like gigabytes or whatever?
Yeah.
And then you have to pay Dropbox.
Correct. Yeah. So there's a free plan. I think it's 2 gigabytes is free for Dropbox, and then you pay $10 a month, and you get like 100 terabytes or something. Like it's crazy. So it's like a Spotify subscription. For me, I'm okay with paying $10 a month for all the music I could possibly listen to, and the same with storage. But try it out for free for a while and see what you think. And then onto Google Drive. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Google Drive has online storage, and it's a great system. I use it as well as Dropbox. But the thing that it does best is it's got Google Docs and Sheets, which is the online version, for those who don't know, of Word and Excel. So you don't download any software, it's all online. And the big advantage to that is this little button up here, which is the share button. So I remember when we first started getting the internet, and if we wanted to send someone a document, we would start an email, we'd attach it to that email, you'd go over to them, they'd download it, they'd adjust it, they'd save it, they'd reattach it, they'd send it back. If you're still doing that, you're wasting a whole lot of time, okay? If you create that document on Google Sheets or Docs, you can just click that little share button, and you can either add someone's email address in here, or you can just send them a link to that file, and you can either give them read access or you can give them edit access. And so the great thing about this is if you're sharing, perhaps you've got a studio and an administrative assistant, if you've got a few teachers perhaps, you might be sharing a spreadsheet of absentees or something like that. Just work on the same document together. It might be that you're coordinating a recital with somebody. Share the same document, so you're always seeing the same thing and you're always looking at the most updated version. I think it's fascinating when you look at something that you've shared like this, and you can actually see other people's cursors going in and working on things and changing things in front of you. It's kind of spooky, but that means that it's working. So sharing things like that, I think, is a great benefit of using Google Drive. So if you haven't explored that, and you are needing to share documents with people, then that's a great thing to do. You can use it for student notes too. If you're keeping record of students on your computer, if that's something you like to do, but you're doing it in Word, then if you did it on Google Docs, you can easily share it with their parents or the student. You can just give them view access so they can't edit it. And that might be a good way to keep up with what's going on in lessons, if you choose to do that. Totally up to you. All right? I know we're moving fast, but we're running out of time. So I want to talk about virtual teams. And this might seem a little bit weird to be talking about because many of us are just running our own studios. But if you're teaching 40 or 50 students, well, between 30 and 50 is about the average number of students for a one-on-one teacher to teach, in my experience. You've got a lot of admin to do, and there's a lot of tasks that have to go on. I want you to ask yourself whether there's any of those tasks that you could hand out to someone else to do for you, particularly if it's an online task. So for example, in my business, as most of you know, I've got a blog and a podcast, I've got a membership site. So here's an example of some of the people and where they live that I use in my business. So my podcast and video editor is in Hungary. I don't do any of that myself. If I need transcription or notation done, someone in Serbia does that. My graphic designer is in Spain. My bookkeeping is in India. My developers are in Italy. And I've got a virtual assistant in the Philippines. And that sounds like a huge expense and a whole lot of hassle, but it's actually incredibly easy because there are so many tools that will allow you to connect with people around the world. And so I want you to consider whether there are any tasks that a virtual assistant could do for you. So anything that you do more than once, and anything that you shouldn't be doing, and anything that doesn't require a physical presence in your studio. So it might be moving student names from this document to this document, or liaising with event spaces for your next recital, or something that people can do that really only needs email and typing and online access. The great thing, of course, about this is that you're accessing much cheaper rates than people charge in the United States or Australia or England, for that matter. So in the Philippines, $10 an hour is a really good wage, and people are incredibly skilled, they speak great English. So why wouldn't you take advantage of that if you have some tasks that these people could potentially do for you? And the other thing is that you're employing them as contractors. So they can grow with you. If you need more time, hire them for more time. If you need less, you can do that too. Of course, as an ongoing thing, if you get a big enough studio, I would obviously encourage you to employ people in America. I think that's great. But to get you started, this can be a great avenue for you. So I've got a little video about this online. It's actually in my membership. I use Upwork.com. You can browse and search for people, or you can post an ad for people. There are lots of tricks because you will get interest from people who shouldn't be applying. So just be aware. There are some tricks to it. Just read about it online, or speak to me and find out more about some of the resources I can share with you. Okay, so I think we're getting close to the hour, and I can see our next speaker, who you must stay around for, of course. Samantha Coates at the back of the room here. So I will finish up, Sam, for you. So my final thoughts: turn off browser, email, and phone notifications. I think this is good. Accept the notifications from your big, friendly Melbourne-based piano teacher, of course. I really like to block my time in chunks. So having a set amount of time to do a set task can be really valuable, so if they don't end up going too long. And I find that if I have to do something I don't really want to do, and I just say, okay, you're going to be finished by 11 o'clock, and you can go out for a nice coffee and have half an hour off if you get it done. It's like, okay, I can do that. So your blocking off time can be good. Having particular days, if you always have sort of 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon to yourself, maybe your Tuesdays become the day that you do nothing. Wednesdays becomes your going through repertoire day, Thursdays, etc. That can be useful as well. Get more sleep. We all need to do that. I don't know if you know about the research that says that the amount of hours of sleep you get before midnight are the best quality hours of sleep you can get. And so if you can get to bed by 10, tends to be better for you. Does anyone do that? I actually do. I'm an early to bed, early to rise kind of person. So that's why I'm happy saying it to you. But I know lots of people are like, oh, this guy's crazy. Go to bed at 1. Look up the research. It's quite interesting. Eating well, I think, is important. And finally, exercising. And of course, there is a great thing you can do while you're exercising, and that's listen to my podcast, which happens to be on this app. So, look, I hope that's helpful for you. If you are interested in any of my training about studio management, marketing, business, or creative teaching, my beginners teaching, those kinds of things, and I have got a lot of free webinars on my website. You're more than welcome to enjoy them. And I hope that was helpful for you, and will save you a bit of time, which will allow you to hopefully make some more money maybe down the track. Thank you very much for listening. Let me know if you've got any questions.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this month's look at ways to streamline your studio. Make sure you've grabbed our free magazine. It's over at topmusic.co/magazine if you haven't. It's all about the same topic, streamlining your studio, guest interviews, tips, tactics, strategies, ways to save you time and money. That's what we've been trying to do all this month, and I hope it has been helpful. Next week on the podcast, we kick off our technique month with teaching beginner piano technique with Catherine Fisher from Piano Safari. We're talking about teaching beginner piano technique. I'm Tim Topham, and you've been listening to the Topcast. So great to have you with me today. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week. How do you keep up to date with all the latest trends and research into music education? How do you connect with other teachers around the world and make sure your teaching stays fresh and relevant for students of all ages and stages, both now and into the future? I created our Top Music Pro membership to be the one-stop shop for music teaching resources, training, support, and community, and I'd love for you to come and join us inside. With over 40 comprehensive training courses, hundreds of teaching demonstrations and lesson plans, free monthly sheet music, discounts, and all the business and pedagogy support you could ever need, Top Music Pro is the community you've been looking for. If you're ready to level up your learning from the podcast and join thousands of other teachers in our global network, head over to topmusicpro.com today. If you enjoy this show and want to hear more of our work, be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening today. For links and resources mentioned in this episode, visit us at topmusic.co/podcast or check out the show notes. I'm Tim Topham. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your week ahead, and I'll catch you next time.